You know what I love? Magic the Gathering. You know what I like about Magic the Gathering? Universes Beyond. I know, hot take, but shut up and listen. Universes Beyond hasn't always been good. This was cringe. This was cringe for different reasons until they weren't. This was peak design, but terrible products. But these were the holy grail, praise be our Lord Richard Garfield, PhD. I could go on and on about how I came to my decision on this tier list, but that's not what I want to talk about in this video. What I want to talk about is where Universes Beyond is headed with its next set. Final Fantasy. First of all, I'm not here to talk about how good a certain world fits in, or why you should agree with me on why Universes Beyond can be good. I just want to have a fun conversation about turning elements of things not magic related into some good old-fashioned cardboard crack. I.e., I want to make some fake cards, baby. Secondly, I will be focusing on one specific game in general, and that game is Final Fantasy XV. The reason why I have chose Final Fantasy XV as my subject for the day is because it's my only true engagement with the series as a whole. I've got mates who've played the other games in the series, and one of them has an unhealthy obsession with the Kingdom Hearts games, so I kinda know what's going on anyway. But I personally only have a connection to these guys. I'm going to start by breaking down my thought process in bringing the boys of Final Fantasy XV to Magic the Gathering. Simply put, I want the only mechanic that actually matters to any Final Fantasy set, and that is party. If this set doesn't have the party matters mechanic in general,
that's a peddling.
Party is such an easy build around mechanic. There's no shortage of avenues you could go down, and Magic is honestly blessed with a crossover like this. They have so much to pull from, but I'm getting sidetracked. You could build them based on character personality or story elements, but I've chosen to go down the route of in-game mechanics, trying to translate a few of my favorite bits from the games into how they play on cardboard. So, without further ado, let's start with the Crown Prince himself.
Noctis Lucis Kylum.
Noctis Lucis Kylum is a WoBurg 5/5 legendary creature human noble wizard with vigilance and 2 abilities. Ability the first. As long as your party is full, creatures in your party have +3/+3 and vigilance. Now I'll admit this is more of a story-based decision than anything else, but it kinda just makes sense to me. Noctis may be a magic-toting prince, but he's not at his true strength without his boys. Ability the second. Link Strike. Tap an untapped party member and Noctis to have both of them deal damage equal to their power to any one target. This could be a creature, planeswalker, player, or heck, choose a battle for all it's worth. This comes from one of the main gameplay mechanics you perform in combat. While you hold down the attack button, occasionally one of your allies will decide, hey, let me help you out there, buddy. And you do a sick combo move called a Link Strike. Now, I know these are powerful abilities, but let the man be powerful. He costs WoBurg, requires a second creature and or a full party, and you're lucky he doesn't have card advantage stapled to him. Or even... But for when he's taken out of the fight, I built... Gladio Kingsguard is a 4 generic and 2 Gruul hybrid for a 7/7 legendary creature human warrior that says creature spells you control can't be countered. And it has the ability Survivalist, which reads, at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may return up to X target cards from your graveyard to your hand, where X is the number of creatures in your party. Gladio's Survivalist ability comes from his unique mechanic of being able to find extra items after a battle, which is why it triggers on the post-combat main phase. However, in conjunction with his first ability, making sure your creatures can't be countered, combines to form one of the most helpful mechanics from Final Fantasy XV, which is being able to actually go and help your allies who have fallen in battle. Imagine you've just gone to combat and Noctis just dies. But then, you trigger Gladio's ability to bring a card back from the grave, and all you need to do to get Noctis back in the fight is simply to cast him again. It's pure genius, the synergy, the flavor. Who let this man cook? Speaking of cooking,
I've come up with a new recipe.
Ignis Recipe Maker costs 2 generic and 2 simic hybrid for a 2/4 legendary creature human cleric that reads, at the beginning of your end step, make a food token for each creature in your party. Then, when you eat that food, i.e. sacrifice it, you give your party something a little extra. Now, I don't know how many of you have played a game like Final Fantasy XV, where the food looks so realistically edible that you've dreamed about it. I'm looking at you, Monster Hunter cat chefs. Ignis is also very much in that same camp. His unique mechanic is being able to make a meal so delectable that it gives you buffs in-game. More HP, higher attack or defense, even resistances to some status effects. Because that's what food should do. Not only does food give me strength, but it should also give me lifelink and trample, just because it was made so well. But enough about food. Let's get to the last member of the party. Prompto Smiling Sharpshot costs 1 generic and 2 hybrid Orsov for a 3/1 legendary creature human rogue. It has first strike and the ability Piercer, which reads sacrifice an artifact and tap to deal 1 damage to any target. Then, until end of turn, whenever that target takes damage from a party member, it takes double that damage instead. In my time playing Final Fantasy XV, this has been one of my most used abilities from Prompto, and you start the game with it. Essentially, Prompto's Piercer ability deals damage in a line, and anything in that line has a chance to get a debuff to their stats. Translating that to MTG, just deal double damage. Now, I know damage doubling is more of a red aligned trait, but it's been seen in black too, and it's restrictive to party members, and you have to sacrifice an artifact as well. I feel like you could get away with Orsov. Or Rakdos. I don't know, but Prompto is an Orsov man. I do not have the time to explain. Now, imagine with me for a moment in magical Christmas land. You're playing a game of EDH with your mates, and Noctis is at the helm of your deck. You have everyone on the field, able to attack. You declare Noctis and Gladio as your attackers, and in response to no blockers being declared, you activate Noctis's ability for him and Gladio to punch your opponent in the face. But then, you sacrifice a food token that you previously made using Ignis to Prompto's ability, targeting your opponent, and then, using the triggered ability from Ignis, put a lifelink counter on Gladio. All of a sudden, you're dealing 72 damage out of, well, not quite nowhere, but your opponent is basically dead, and you're gaining a bunch of life on top of it. I have a deep fondness for Final Fantasy XV. I got it around the holiday period that it came out, and it kept me good company while all my IRL friends were out of the city visiting family. My family decided they wanted to return to my least favorite holiday spot, gave me the worst night's sleep of my life and a twinge in my back that I still feel. But anyway, I was home with my boys, these boys, doing my own personal road trip, just trying to save the world. And sometimes, that's all you need. If I had $1 for every Final Fantasy character who guest starred in a Tekken game, I'd have $2. Which isn't much, but it's weird that it happened twice. I still like Clive and his cool dog though.